Okay, welcome back, my good friends. This is 25 tutorials. In this video, I will teach you guys lots of indices and how to apply it. Everything that has to do with indices must start from lots of indices. And to understand the lots of indices, you won't have any issue with regards to indices. In my previous video, I made you guys to understand that the so-called calculator you use today is built under the principle of indices, logarithm, and trigonometry. So, if you want to understand how calculator works very well, you have to understand indices. And to understand indices, the first thing you do is to understand laws of indices. But funny enough, we used law of indices in our former video, where I told you guys, I gave you guys something like this, 2 raised to the power 3. I said this to me, this question means repeat the base to the value of the power and put multiplication inside. 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 2, 8. So this is the first law of indices. You can call it law of exponents or law of power. Okay, the next law of indices I will teach you here has to do with laws of multiplication. Law of multiplication, forgive me. So if I give you simplify, I could say simplify or solve 2 raised to the power 3 multiplied by 2 raised to the power 2. You just write solution. Before you go here, before I deal with this guy, the law of multiplication says that anytime we are multiplying two bases or two or more bases, the first thing you do is to check if the bases are the same. In this guy, A is the base, M is the power. Here, A is the base, M is the power. If you check, these two bases are the same. When the bases are the same, you pick one base. In as much as we are dealing with multiplication, in indices, multiplication means to add. So we add the powers. You say M plus N. So these two guys is the same. Now, how do we translate this to normal stuff? So if I clean this and bring down the normal stuff, we have 2 raised to the power 3 multiplied by 2 raised to the power 2. This will give us, if we check here, we have the same basis. We have the same basis. You pick one base. For the fact that we are dealing with multiplication, we add the powers. So here now, 2 raised to the power 3 plus 5, 3 plus 2 is 5. So you can leave the answer like this, but you and I know that 2 raised to the power 5, according to the first law of indices, say that we should repeat the basis to the value of the power. Here we have 5, so the basis will be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we put multiplication in between. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2, 8, 8 times 2, 16, and 16 times 2 is 32. Therefore, it implies that 2 raised to the power 3 multiplied by 2 raised to the power 2 is the same thing as what? 32. So, there is virtually no big deal to whatsoever say. Okay, so, this guy can still go like this. We can still change it as solve. You can still put negative number. I'll say minus, I'll say 5 raised to the power of minus 4 multiplied by 5 raised to the power of 6. As I solve this, the solution to this, 5 raised to the power minus 4 multiplied by 5 raised to the power of 6 will be the same as if you check the base are the same, we put our 5 as the base. But we have multiplication here according to law of indices. If the bases are the same, pick one base, and since we are dealing with multiplication, we add the powers. The powers are minus 4 and 6, say minus 4 plus 6. So from here, this implies that 5 raised to the power of minus 4 plus 6, minus means you are owing owing 2 naira, and plus 6 means you are paying the 2 naira. So this will be 2. Now, this guy is the same thing as 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So therefore, this implies that 5 raised to the power minus 4 multiplied by 5 raised to the power what 6 is same as 25. So if you point this guy on calculator will definitely give you 25. This is the continuation of law of indices. This one has to do with division. So the solution to this, or before I even write solution, if you are given this type of thing, so the best way to go about it, indices says when 2 or more bases are divided itself. The first thing to do is to consider the bases, whether they are the same. We have the base here, A here, the bases are the same. So if the bases are the same, you should do what? Pick one base. And if it is division, that we should subtract the powers. Supposing we have multiplication here, we'll add the powers. So since this one is division, we subtract the powers. So these two guys are the same. Okay, using this concept here, how do we solve the one above? Mind you, it must not be 2. I could as well say A divided by M, A raised to power M divided by A raised to power P divided by A, let's say A raised to power K. Everything here will be the same thing as, because if you check the bases are the same, we'll pick one base. We have division all through, we subtract this minus this. There is division here again, so we subtract. So these are the same. So using this concept, let us use it to solve these guys. So if I give you this, you put on solution, just write a solution. Bring down the question, 2 raised to the power 7 divided by 2 raised to the power 3. It will give us, if you check the bases here, the bases are the same. We have 2 here, we also have 2, which is the base. So we write one base. You check here is division. Since we have division, indices say we should turn the division to what? Subtraction. We have to subtract what? The powers, because we have division here. The powers here are 7 and 3, so it becomes 7 minus 3. That's 2 raised to the power 7 minus 3. It will give you 2 raised to the power 7 minus 3 is 4. You said that 2 raised to the power 4, you and I know. From the law of exponents, or the first law of indices, anytime we are given something like this, it tells us to repeat the base, which is 2, to the value of the power. The power is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. They will put multiplication in between. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 2, 16. So therefore, it implies that 2 raised to the power 7 divided by 2 raised to the power 3 is nothing but what? 16. Okay, so even if I clean this and give you guys this type of work to do, clean this, you have 6 raised to the power 6 raised to the power 5 divided by 6 raised to the power 2. So how do we go about it? The solution to this matter will be 6 raised to the power 5 divided by 6 raised to the power 2. Check the bases are the same. We'll write down one base. The next thing to consider is this division. Division means subtraction in indices. What are we subtracting? We are subtracting the powers, 5 minus 2. So here we'll get 6 raised to the power 5 minus 2 is what? 3. So but you and I know that 6 raised to the power 3 means we repeat what? The base into what? Into 3 times. Into 3, or to the value of the base, or the power, forgive me. 6 times 6 is 36, And 36 times 6 will give us 216. So therefore, this implies that 6 raised to the power of 5 divided by 6 raised to the power of 2 will give us 216. So perfectly, virtually the same. So using this guy, supposing we are given something like this, we are given this type of thing to do. So some of you will start asking some questions, which is not bad. So suppose you are given this type of thing, 2 raised to the power of 4 divided by 3 raised to the power of 3. The solution is any than 2 raised to the power of 4 divided by 3 raised to the power of 3. When you look at it, these guys, the bases are not the same. When the bases are not the same, you will not blame indices again, because the bases are not the same. So in this regard, what we do, we have to solve it individually. You solve separately. When we solve separately, we're going to solve 2 raised to the power of 4, which will surely give us, we'll repeat this. We are solving separately because 2 and 3 are not the same. If they are the same, we have to keep one base, then subtract the power, but the bases are not the same. So we are going to get this times this times this times this will give us this is 4, 8, this times this is 16. And also 3 raised to the power of 3 means repeat 3 to the value of 3. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. So therefore, it implies that 2 raised to the power of 4 divided by 3 raised to the power of 3 is something as this guy is 16 divided by this guy, which is 27. It will give you 16 over 27. So this is the answer. You cannot go further. There is nothing to go about it. So this is how calculator is coded. Now the next guy you have to understand will be, okay, let me give you a question that has to do with combination of multiplication and division. So let's say you are given 2 raised to the power 9 or 2 raised to the power 4 multiplied by 2 raised to the power 5 divided by 2 raised to the power 7. So this is a combination of multiplication and division. You just write solution. After writing solution, you bring down the equation, which is 2 raised to the power 4 multiplied by 2 raised to the power 5 divided by 2 raised to the power 7. So using these two guys, we have to deal with it separately. Dealing with these two guys, all we know is the bases are the same, but for now let us calm down to take it separately. I can still take it at a go, but for the purpose of illustration, let me take it one step at a time. So if I work with from here to here, I will neglect this for the time being. From here to here, 2, 2, they have the same base. We bring down the base. Now we'll consider this center here, which is multiplication. And multiplication means addition in indices. Then what we are adding this plus this, the powers. So we have 4 plus 5. Then you bring down this, divided by, bring down this 2 raised to the power 7. So this will give us 2 raised to the power 4 plus 5 is 9, divided by 2 raised to the power this. So from here, we have simplified it. See the same base, and we know what division is, which is subtraction. We are subtracting the power 9 minus 7. So here we're gonna get 2 raised to the power 9 minus 7 is 2. But you and I know that 2 raised to the power 2 means you should repeat the base twice. 2 times 2 is nothing but 4. So therefore, it implies that 2 raised to the power 4 multiplied by 2 raised to the power 7 divided by 2 raised to the power 7 is nothing but 4. So At this juncture, you discover that there is nothing hard with regards to what indices. Okay, so far I've treated the law of exponent, the law of multiplication, and the law of division. Let me teach you the law of zero. This law of zero has it that anything raised to power 0 is 1 in indices. Indices say anything raised to power 0 is what? 1. But don't be fooled by this, because there is an error in this law. The only exempted stuff here is 0. If 0, okay, before I go to 0, 2 raised to power 0 is 1. 4 raised to power 0 is 1. 10 raised to power 0 is 1. Even 100 raised to power 0 is 1. 1 million raised to power 0 minus 6 raised to power 0 is 1. Anything raised to power 0 is 1 in indices. But the only exception is 0. 0 raised to power 0 is not equal to 1. Rather, your calculator will give you error. To give you error or mass error, see the same thing. To give you mass error, or sometimes calculator will write undefined. See, something like this. So there is a reason behind this, and that reason has it that let me explain this so that you not end up cramming mathematics instead of you to know it, because this has given a lot of people nightmare. So if indices say that 2 raised to power 0, that anything raised to power 0 is 1, look at how it was gotten. For something to give you 1, it means that that thing divided itself. For instance, if 2 divided by 2 is 1, anything that gives you 1 as answer, that thing is likely to divide by itself. So I'm referring to division here. So in division, for a number to give you, for two numbers that divide to give you 1, it means that the number divided itself. If you say 10 raised to power 0 is 1. So what is happening behind is 10 is dividing 10, which is 1. This is what is happening behind. I'll give you some examples to justify this and to prove this thing to be right. But then if you say 0 raised to power 0, this is the same thing as saying 0 divided by 0. I know anytime 0 is the denominator, calculator must always write undefined or mass error. Calculator will warn you, because calculator does not know what to do with it. And in mathematics, this is considered to be what? Error. Even if I write 100 divided by 0, this is error. If I write 3 divided by 0, this is error. But if I write 0 divided by 3, calculator will put it 0. This one is correct. Once 0 is the denominator, no way you will get answer other than what? Error. That is what your calculator will beep, or undefined. Undefined means I don't know what to do with this. Okay, so the law of 0 says anything raised to power what? Anything raised to power 0 is what? 1. Except 0, because 0 raised to power 0 is error, not 1. So be warned so that you will not be carried away. Now, let me give you guys, as a solve, I'll give you guys something like this. Solve, let's say 2 raised to power 5 times 2 raised to power 1 divided by 2 raised to power 6. Solution to this will be, I could solve this in two ways. One, let me use normal mathematics. Let me combine indices and normal mathematics. This guy, let me first of all use indices way. If I bring down this, we have 5 raised to power 2 raised to power 5 times 2 raised to power 1 divided by 2 raised to power 6. So this guy, if we take it a step at a time, we have to bring down 2 as a base, the power 5 and 1, and we'll have multiplication here, which means we have to add. We bring down this, divided by 2 raised to power 6. So here we are going to get 2 raised to power 5 plus 1 is 6 divided by this. So this is same thing. The base is what? 2. The base are the same. We pick one base. This is power. This is division, which means we are to what? Subtract. We are subtracting the power 6 and 6. 6 minus 6. So we get 2 raised to power 6 minus 6 is 0. And we know that anything raised to power 0 is what? 1. In other words, if you still want to solve this, another way to put it is from here, from this line, let me take it up, 2 raised to power 6 divided by 2 raised to power 6. If I take it up, this thing is the same thing as saying 2 raised to power 6. This division means all over this. And when you take this guy, 2 raised to power 6 will give you 64. Divided by 2 raised to power 6 is the same 64. Any number that divides itself will give you 1. So this is how we got it, that anything raised to power 0 is what? 1. If I say 2 raised to power or 3 raised to power 5 divided, let me use small number, 3 raised to power 3 divided by 3 raised to power 3. So this thing is the same thing as saying 3 times the same thing as 3 raised to power 3 all over 3 raised to power 3. And you and I know that 3 raised to power 3 means repeat 3 into 3. And this guy, the same thing. So this 3 will cancel this 3, this 3 will cancel this 3, this 3 will cancel this 3. We get 1. See the same thing. So math is very simple. You just have to know and understand the pattern. That's all. And key into it. So anything raised to power 0 is what? 1. Other than what? 0. 0 is the what? Exception.